contacts, eyelashes, and lash serums. No, no, no. Well, they all cause complications. Every single one of them. They've all been documented. Lots of artists, have experienced, complications from mild to, more serious with all three of those topics: contacts, fake eyelashes, and lash serums. So why risk it? Those are 3 don'ts right there. And look, anything we can do as artists, PMU artists, it's stressful enough, right? It takes a big balls to tattoo faces. What we do, and think about it. I think we're brave. I mean, don't you think, Olivia? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. I would never do it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are in the rooms watching us sometimes. I mean, when you're doing eyeliner, sometimes you got people, trying to blink, squint, move, wiggle, and we're trying to, get, super crisp, symmetrical tops and get perfect bottoms, and they're tearing. I'm talking people out of learning eyelines. I'm trying to talk artists doing beautiful brows, do eyeliners, and now they're going to hear this little segment. They're going to be like, oh my God, you had me there for a minute, Tara, and you had me thinking about it. Now fuck that. But it's true. There's a set of challenges, man, that come along with tattooing eyeliner. Not with every client, but of course with some of them, and those are the challenges, that I just mentioned. But whether you tattoo brows, eyeliner, lips, areolas, all of it, I just think it takes courage. I think we're brave, and it takes confidence, a certain level of confidence in yourself and your skill level, to tattoo these procedures. So like I said, stressful enough when you have the perfect client that's behaving exactly how you want them to behave, in the chair. And with those perfect clients behaving perfectly, right, the perfect conditions, it's still stressful. So you don't want to add to your stress. And everything that I've mentioned already, contacts, lash, serums, fake eyelashes, all this stuff, it just complicates the procedure. It increases the risk for complications and reactions. And, you just don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You always want to create the best scenario possible for every single client and for yourself, or, you're going to go home, you're going to drink every single night, like I have in the past with some of my procedures. I've gone home and I've made myself a Cosmo because I had a stressful procedure. All right, so let's get on to the next one. Don't tattoo too far in to the inner canthus, the tear duct area. Technically we call that the inner canthus. You don't want to tattoo too far in there. And some clients, topically, they bring their eyeliner really far in to the tear duct area. And that's fine topically. There's some things that are done topically with eyeliner that we cannot do or should not be doing tattoo-wise. And one of them is bringing that pigment, tattooing that pigment too far into that inner canthus, that inner corner, into the tear duct area. And there's some reason why. There's a duct in that area called the lacrimal duct that produces tears. And tears are important. They are critical to the eyeball, critical to eye health, critical to eye comfort. Anybody out there, do you suffer from dry eye at all?
I do.
You do? Mm-hmm. So do you get it so bad, Willow, that it can be like uncomfortable, like cause you discomfort?
Yeah, I can't wear contacts because of it very often.
Okay. Well, my wife, Kat, just had LASIK eye surgery. And she got dry eye so bad, so bad. Her vision was a little blurry. She was in so much discomfort. And it got so dry that she got a little corneal tear or an abrasion, which made the situation even worse. But dry eye is very uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable, and so you don't want to mess with that lacrimal gland, that controls the flow of tears, right? You don't want to cause somebody to have dry eye. And of course, our tattoo needle is going in and out of the skin, 60, 70, 80 times a second, and you risk that. So the other problem that can have is an overproduction of tears. And I can't remember the technical medical term, epiphora, I believe, something along those lines. But it's an overproduction of tears where tears don't stop flowing. I mean, they're just spewing out of the eye, down your face. And that can happen. It is a medical condition. And, you'll see people, you can Google on the internet and you'll see that they have to constantly have a tissue. They've actually got a red streak down their cheek because they've got a constant stream of tear flowing down their cheek that it causes a red irritation, a red line of irritation. So whether it's dry, whether it restricts the production of tear flow and causes dry eye, or it messes with the gland somehow and starts producing more tear flow, either way is not good. It's uncomfortable, and you just don't want to risk that. So do not go too far into that tear duct area. Don't let your clients talk you into it. If you have a client that likes it, in there, really in there, into the tear duct area, you just got to be firm and professional, and advise them that you don't take pigment into that area and why. And, they can go home and add it, pull it in a little bit further with a pencil if they want. Okay, so don't tattoo too far into the inner canthus. And with that said, the outer corners, let's talk about the outer corners. You don't want to connect corners. First and foremost, like aesthetically, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good tattoo-wise. And I'm not saying that I haven't seen, some gals, connect their corners with topical makeup. You've seen, some pictures like that sometimes on Instagram or online. In magazines, magazine shoots, you'll see it. It's a little bit more of a dramatic look. And it can look really, really sexy and really, really great. It's topically on a certain person, on a certain shaped eye. But on most women, most eye shapes, aesthetically, it just doesn't look that good. And then the other reason is that the tissue is so thin. You're almost tattoo. It's almost like if you guys, take your finger right now and touch that corner, you feel bone. It's like super thin skin, like lying over bone. And so it's just too delicate. It's just too delicate. Definitely don't ever take carbon out there because you are at high risk of migration because that skin is so dang thin. So I have never, ever connected a corner in my life, and I'm dead set against it, tattoo-wise. So again, lots of clients will tattoo, the corners, actually connect the eyeliner where the bottom and the top connect. And I think that's an eyeliner don't. A tattoo eyeliner don't. If a eyeliner client wants that look, then just advise them to pencil it in, on certain occasions, and you're going to get to a certain age where you're going to wake up and not want that look anyway. You outgrow certain trends and certain looks when you get to a certain age. But they can always take a pencil and connect it that way if they really want to. Okay, don't tattoo the wet line, right? That's a topic that comes up a lot about the wet line. And I follow that rule, right? And it is a little bit controversial. Maybe controversial is not the right word, but some people say it's okay to tattoo the wet line. Some people are dead set against tattooing the wet line. They feel it's going to mess with the tear ducts, and you should not tattoo the wet line. Within the medical community, eye doctors can't even agree. So even within the medical community, some eye doctors will, take the stance that it's okay to tattoo the wet line. Some will tell you, no, it's not okay to tattoo the wet line. Some doctors will even go as far as advising against using a wax pencil up there on that wet line. Because if, you're applying eyeliner with your wax pencil over and over and over and over, that wax can get into the tear ducts and clog the tear ducts. So how is, I'm just a PMU artist. How am I to decide what's safe, what's not? What, should I tattoo the wet line? Should I not? When, even eye doctors in the medical community can't agree. So what I decided to do many, many years ago in my career is just err on the side of caution. So I don't tattoo the wet line unless I have to for design and aesthetic reasons. And there has been occasion where I have had to creep up into the wet line a little bit on some clients and tattoo some pigment into the wet line a little bit for aesthetic reasons. For an example, so you know what I mean. If you have a client that has a droopy bottom eye, like it droops like in the middle, like it, just this nice little droop, like a smiley face, right? Mm-hmm. Is this what I'm doing? A smiley face, yeah. Olivia? Imagine a droop like a smiley face. It droops right in the middle. And I follow the lash line. I put black pigment and I follow that lash line like I'm supposed to on normal clients that don't have a droop. What am I doing? I'm enhancing that droop, mm-hmm. right? I'm enhancing that middle droop. And of course I don't want to do that. So before I tattoo every bottom, I look at it closely. I really, with examining eyes, I make sure that the eye doesn't have a droop in the middle. Sometimes on the outer, like in the outer corner area, I can have a little droop or this little pocket where it kind of droops a little bit. So I look for droops on that bottom line. And if there is a droop, then where it droops, I'm not going to follow the lash line and accentuate that droop. I'm going to stay in my aesthetic line, and I'm going to get up into the wet line a little bit and hug the eye, hug the edge of the bottom lid. And actually what that ends up doing is it deflects from the droop. It can actually kind of deflect and give the illusion that the client doesn't have a droopy bottom eye. And we've had clients come to us for bottom eyeliner only because they have such a severe droop on that bottom lid and they don't like it. And and surgery can be done on that bottom lid to reduce a droop. But from what I understand from my own plastic surgeon here in town, who I work closely with, it's a very complicated, difficult surgery. And of course it's thousands of dollars, so for $400 or $500, a client can come to us here at Girlz Inc. and we can design a bottom eyeliner and give the illusion that droop doesn't exist, or at least decrease the look of the droop, right? So that's my personal philosophy on the wet line. Avoid it. Don't go into the wet line if you don't need to. Err on the side of caution. And on most clients, you don't have to. you're going to get a beautiful, absolutely aesthetically beautiful bottom eyeliner without ever having to go into that wet line. And then on, a few occasions when aesthetically speaking, you got a droop, you're going to want to creep into the wet line to reduce the appearance of the droop. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And again, you do definitely have clients that come in and they're penciling, up in that wet line. I mean, they bring that their eyeliner right up to the edge of their lower lid. And that's the first thing I tell them is I can't tattoo way up there. We're not going to tattoo the wet line. They can always add it if they want.